Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About Clutter. I'm your host, Margo, a professional organizer specializing in chronic clutter. And today we are diving into the ultimate decluttering survival guide to help you conquer clutter and reclaim your home. So whether you are a decluttering newbie or a seasoned pro, these tips will ensure that you overcome procrastination and finally see progress. And at the end of the day, we can all benefit from a decluttering survival guide. It's probably no surprise that having clutter impacts all aspects of our lives. It affects us physically, emotionally, mentally. At times, it can feel like we are suffocating in our space, surrounded by all these things, draining our energy. And the truth is, we know that we have to purge, yet for some reason, we feel stuck. Maybe you are procrastinating right now. You keep saying to yourself, oh, I will just do it tomorrow. Yet the truth is that tomorrow, it just never comes. Maybe you're someone who has an emotional attachment and it's hard to let anything go. So what's the point of even trying? Or maybe you're someone who is so overwhelmed by the sheer amount of clutter that you struggle with decision fatigue. Where do I even start? Regardless of the reason, I'm here to rip off the Band-Aid. And the truth is, clutter won't magically make its way out of your home. I wish nothing more than to find a magic potion or a magic pill or like a series of hacks that can help you remove clutter from your home easily, seamlessly, and with very little stress. But unfortunately, I haven't found it yet. And the only way to really rid your home of clutter is to take action. While you are procrastinating getting it done, you are actually creating more and more scary stories in your head about what you can't do and how bad it is. The thing is that all the scary stuff, it comes before you actually declutter. I have worked with dozens of clients, some who had a hard time parting with pretty much everything. And yet, every single one of them was able to make progress going a little bit at a time. I say this because if you're somebody who you want to declutter, you want to achieve that clean and tidy home that you can be proud of and have guests come over and not feel the need to make excuses to the plumber how you were in the middle of cleaning, you can do it too. There is no such thing as not being able to declutter, even though right now you feel like you can't do it and it's so far out of your reach. The point is that the toughest thing is to actually get started and take action. So let's do a little mini activity. Right now, don't think, just walk up to a random item that you don't use, don't need, and toss it. I assure you that this random item is not hard to find. And what you'll notice if you actually do this, what you'll notice is that it's not as scary as you thought. And some of your mind is an interesting thing. And some maybe thoughts will flourish and be like, oh, instead of praising you for being able to get rid of just one item, right? This is what starts it all, right? It starts with that one item. You're going to have thoughts wanting to creep in to tell you, but it's just one item. What's the big deal? Tell those thoughts to shut it. All right. I am here celebrating with you that one item that you just got rid of. And I promise you, when you get started, the hardest part is to get started. When you get started, you will begin to build the momentum and those feelings of overwhelm start to decrease. If you truly want to achieve a clutter-free home, answer this one simple question. Why? What are your reasons for wanting a clean and tidy space? How will your life improve if you invest the time to declutter? Take the time to really think this through. The more specific you can be, the better. What this does is it helps you shift your mindset from procrastination to commitment. And anytime you feel like you lack motivation and you're lacking momentum or you feel overwhelmed, go back and revisit your why statement. Take the time to really write down your why. Envision your life. If you achieve a clutter-free, clean, and tidy home, right? What will that look like 2 years from now, 3 years from now? What will your home look like? What will your life look like? How will you feel? How will you feel mentally, physically? If you feel better, how does that improve other aspects of your life? Do you become a more present mother? Do you improve relationships between you and your partner or your family? Are you just happier? Maybe you're somebody who used to host a lot and enjoyed having people over. And in the last X amount of years, clutter has built up. So you're no longer hosting and you feel like a part of you is missing. What would that look like to resume hosting and having people over, right? This is very unique and specific to you. What is your why? I really want you to sit with this. I want you to envision life a year, 2 years, and 3 years from now. How will it improve? This is a wonderful way, especially if you're stuck, to motivate you to get started. The point is, don't fear, commit. So phase 1 of the Decluttering Survival Guide is what we just covered, and it's motivation. You have to find your motivation to get started. That is really the hardest part. Now, the second part of the survival guide, right? Really surviving and accomplish. I want you to be successful, not just for a day, not just for a week, but I want you to be successful in transforming your space. And the second part of the decluttering survival guide is planning. The magic is in the planning. Do not skip this step. One of the biggest mistakes I see clients make is jumping into decluttering with no game plan. This causes sporadic decluttering, it achieves very little progress, and it tires you out real quick. Taking a few minutes to plan and prep will keep you on track, focused, and secret, keep your stress and overwhelm low. So here are 3 simple steps to planning. Step 1, you're going to identify all areas of clutter. And this happens through a walkthrough. So you're going to walk around your home and you're going to write down all areas of clutter. So the bedrooms, the master closet, the common areas, the entryway, the kitchen, the bathroom, etc., etc. And then you're going to label those in order of priority from 1 to 3. 1 being, these are my eye twitch areas that I must declutter, right? These are typically high touch zones. You're in and out of them every single day. It's a constant reminder of how cluttered it is. So those are your 1s. Your 3s will be your nice to haves, right? If you have a huge house, you can bump it up to 5, right? So your 3s are, I'll get to it when I get to it, right? So you're going to essentially, you have that 1-page list and you're going to label each item on a scale of 1 to 3. Step 2 of the planning, you're going to select only 1 area. So you're going to choose 1 of your 1s and you're going to break the area down into smaller, more manageable sections. The thing is, oftentimes we are overwhelmed because we take in the big picture, the big project, right? And when we look at maybe a kitchen that is really cluttered, we're like, heck no, I can't do this. This is why for step 2, it's all about bite-sized decluttering. This is what I preach. This is what I practice. And this is how I work with all my clients. So you're going to select only 1 area and you're going to break that area down into smaller, more manageable sections. So for example, upper cabinet drawers, you can even break up the drawers in pieces, right? If you have 4 drawers, we can go 1 at a time. The cabinets, the countertop, maybe you have multiple countertops, so you can break those up as well. The kitchen table, if you have one, the pantry, the refrigerator, the oven, whatever. You're going to break up your zone into smaller, more manageable projects. And then finally, step 3, you're going to pencil decluttering on your calendar. If it's not written down, it won't get done. This has been proven again and again and again. We commit when we write something down. So look at your schedule, look at your calendar, right? This is very specific to you, your lifestyle. How often can you declutter per week? Can you declutter 30 minutes on Saturday and Sunday? Can you declutter 3 days a week, maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for 15 minutes? Whatever it is, consistency is key. It's not so much about time invested. It's more about consistency and sticking to a schedule. And something that I encourage all of my clients to do is that most likely you will not be decluttering every single day, or rather having like a more of an extended decluttering session every single day. So on days when you're not decluttering, so you can because you're building a new habit, so it's going to take time and you're going to have feelings of like, I don't want to do this today, right? So I want to make sure that you have that momentum. So on days when you are not decluttering, toss 1 to 5 random items. These items do not have to be in the area that you're working on. You're flying through the living room, you see a trinket on a shelf, you don't need it, get rid of it. Maybe you have a home office, you're working at your desk, you see random broken paper clips or a marker that has run out of juice. Instead of putting it back, get rid of it. So on days when you're not decluttering, get into the habit of tossing 1 to 5 items a day. And of course, for more on creating a decluttering plan, you can always join my free How to Create a Decluttering Plan workshop. It is live on Zoom and I host it every 2 weeks. You can find more information in the show notes. Moving on to Decluttering Survival Guide Part 3, and that is the actual decluttering process. Choose your decluttering method, and you want to make sure that you stack up on supplies. So you will need boxes and black garbage bags. I honestly prefer black because if you are someone who struggles to let go, you might be tempted to peek at the bag and remove things that you already placed in there. And as a pro tip, once you declutter, get the items out of your home as soon as possible. I repeat, do not allow the bags, the boxes to sit in your house. The temptation is too real. If you're someone who's going to be donating your items, you want to make sure that you schedule a pickup time or know what days and times drop off can happen. So there has to be some type of planning. We do not want our decluttered items, or rather our items that are being donated, to sit in your entryway or in your living room or in the trunk of your car. How you declutter is very subjective. You can use the KonMari method, you can use Swedish death cleaning, or you can simply use the 1-year rule. Honestly, the method is not as important as the consistency. Too many people spend a lot of time deciding how to declutter perfectly. There is no such thing as perfect decluttering. What does that even mean? It's like not a real thing. Instead, focus less on the decluttering method and more on actually rolling up those sleeves and getting to work on the room that you selected. You will work out your method while you're doing it. This, I promise. The one piece of advice I will offer is to declutter in increments and set alarms. Our brains enjoy working in sprints, not marathons, and having an end in sight. So declutter in 15 minutes a drawer, 30 minutes 2 drawers, max an hour a dresser. Don't forget to set an alarm, and in most instances, you will go past the time. And guess what? Anything beyond what you've planned is a bonus. So spend more time in identifying your why and building your motivation to get started and your commitment. Spend more time on the planning phase so you can decrease those feelings of overwhelm and decision fatigue. And as far as the method, just get started. The method will kind of come about, right? In my experience, I don't think there's like a one size fits all. I think that when we start decluttering, we kind of pull from different methods and eventually kind of self-select one that makes sense for us. Moving on to section 4, you cannot talk about a decluttering survival guide without addressing the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is overcoming decluttering challenges. Anyone who says you will not encounter roadblocks is lying. Okay? There will be moments that arise where we lose motivation, where we lose momentum, where we get angry, where we get sad. Things will happen, and we need to talk about them, and we need to prepare ourselves that things will come up, and sometimes we will have to pause decluttering for a little bit, and sometimes we will get emotional, and sometimes we will be hard on ourselves for, buying a particular item that was expensive that we never used. So I'm gonna teach you how to overcome a few of the most common decluttering challenges. Number one are the sentimental items. Now, the truth is never, ever, ever start with sentimental items first, okay? We just don't go there. We want to start with the easiest stuff first, and we kind of want to build that habit before we tend to the more sentimental items. So if you're decluttering and you accidentally encounter a sentimental items, just put it away, right? Don't declutter it, don't toss it, don't make a decision, right? We don't want to put a kibosh on decluttering so you can tackle it later. But sentimental items will come up. And in general, if you've made it to the point where you are now decluttering sentimental items, keep in mind that it is completely okay to have a memory box, okay? You do not need to get rid of all of your sentimental items. You do not need to get rid of all of the things that bring about good, wonderful memories, right? So while it's okay to have a memory box, it is not okay to have a memory home. So keep what you must and take photos of the rest. Remember, hold on to the memory in your mind and in your heart. You don't actually need all of the items to spark the emotion. And truth be told, a lot of times we hold on to items that spark negative emotion. And that's not good for us. Now, the second obstacle that tends to come up is decision fatigue. So as we are decluttering, we encounter items and we're like, oh my God, do I keep it? Do I not keep it? Do I keep it? Do I not keep it? And it just becomes completely overwhelming. Okay. So if you are not sure about an item, keep it. The truth is, you will find yourself decluttering the same space multiple times. And decluttering gets easier the more you do it. Take breaks. Don't declutter on super emotionally charged days. And know that your commitment will guide you to a clutter-free home. So don't be overly hard on yourself. If you have a hard time parting with a particular items or set of items, just keep going. You will circle back for those items, okay? And this happens all of the time. I work with a lot of people. In the beginning, it's very hard. Maybe we get rid of 10%. But then the second round, it's like 20% and then 30%. And then lo and behold, our shopping habits change. And now we're thinking about decluttering. And all of a sudden, we are much more intentional about what we keep. I mean, magic happens. The most important thing is to get started and keep going. The third and final very common obstacle is the fear of letting go. That emergency apocalypse that you're planning for probably won't happen. And if you do accidentally, on the rare chance, get rid of something you need, my guess is you can go out and buy a new one. In all my experience working with clients and in my own decluttering journey, I can count on one hand how often an item is decluttered and is then needed. So I encourage you to prioritize yourself and how you feel holding on to all of these things, instead of giving so much life to inanimate objects consuming your home. And the reality is that even if we, let's say, got rid of something and all of a sudden we need it, we're incredibly adaptable and we come up with creative ways to solve a problem with things that we already have. Finally, section 5 of the decluttering survival guide, and it's maintenance. Once you start or resume decluttering, you will notice that it's not as scary as you thought. You will also begin to see changes in other areas of your life. Improving one aspect of your life has a domino effect on other parts of your life as well. Everything is interconnected. I recently had a client 60 days into decluttering her home. Great progress. All of a sudden, she started going to the gym twice a week and stopped drinking soda. She says to me, "Time to get my stuff together," right? The point is, she started with decluttering, but then all of a sudden, all of these other wonderful areas of her life, she desired to make improvements on. And the same thing will happen to you. The key is to maintain the clutter-free space you accomplish. More should always leave your home than enter it. And this requires that you develop daily habits. Just like you clean your home weekly, you should be decluttering frequently as well. You bought a hair product you thought would be great, but it merely dries out your hair. Don't keep it. Give it away or toss it. Somebody offers you some free dish towels that you don't need. Say no. You are in your closet trying to pick out what to wear and find a sweater which causes you to go, "What was I thinking when I bought this?" don't put it back in your closet. Drop it in your clothing decluttering bin. Decluttering is not a once and done approach. Now, yes, when we're first starting out, it seems like a lot. It's super overwhelming. It might take you 6 months. It might take you a year, right? But starting today, a year from now, you're going to have less stuff. What happens if you wait another year? Now you've accrued a year's worth of clutter and you still haven't started. So begin today. And lastly, celebrate along the way. Your progress getting started, completing a drawer, a room, dropping things off to donation deserves celebration. Do not treat it as just a thing you did, because remember, if it was that easy, you would have done it years ago. Clutter-free is subjective and will take as long as it takes. And the most important thing is committing to your new lifestyle and sticking with it. And if you are somebody who is at this time like, I'm committed, I want this done, next March, I want to look back and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't do it sooner. My home is so clean and tidy. We can always work together. I am a decluttering coach. And if you're interested in learning more, you can check out the link in the show notes. As always, thank you so much for listening. Good luck on your decluttering journey. And remember to be good to yourself.